welcome to the Con Artist. I'm Rob Lloyd, and we're here with Symon from the Adelaide Costumers Guild. How are you doing?
I'm well, sir. How are you, sir?
Very, very well, sir. Now, would you care to tell us a bit about the history of the Costumers Guild?
Sure can. The Costumers Guild, I think, started in about the mid-90s, generally over on the East Coast, but it's a club for people who like to get dressed up and want to go to events and so forth in costume. And then when Lord of the Rings came out, early 2000s, it went crazy. Growth of the internet and so forth, it just made it that much more accessible to obtain costumes and socialise online. And yeah, it went huge from there.
Why do we have to stop the interview?
Anti-Dalek propaganda will not be maintained in this instance.
Well, I think there's something...
For about another 20 minutes after he comes out, so don't miss it.
Do you wish to put up shelves and upholstery?
In the house in Supanova.
Everything's happening at the con. So how long have you been associated? How long have you been associated with the guild?
So I started cosplaying, as they call it, in about '02, and I met a couple of people in the Costumers Guild in about 2004. So 2004, 2005, yeah, about 10 years.
Now, I love the do. I love the outfit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
A personal favourite of mine. What do you have? Sort of like your range? Do you have a set favourites? Or just throw whatever you can together? What range of costumes do you have personally?
All right. Probably sci-fi is probably my genre.
Yeah.
So I do a fair bit of sci-fi. Stargate's my core one though. So I do a range of Stargate uniforms. Anything that's brown, so I like Indiana Jones, 10th Doctor, do the 5th Doctor, as you might remember.
Yes, I love the 5th Doctor.
Yeah, along those lines, that kind of thing.
Now, not only are you a fine, snappy dresser in cosplay, but you also built this.
Indeed.
Right here. Tell us about the process of building this monstrous beauty.
Okay, so I used to run a little side business of furniture restoration, and I thought one day, well, Costumers Guild used to have a lot of events at this particular place, and they would always have photos against a pair of disgusting green double doors. So I thought, what can I do? What can I build that's kind of cool, kind of nerdy, that would work as a photo backdrop? And so I started making this.
And so, how long has this been? The TARDIS been around for?
Since January 2011, a bit over 4 years now.
And is it? It's constantly working. It's one of the most hard-working TARDISes in Australia. It's up at so many events. What type of events have you done?
Armageddon, Australian Costumers Guild Ball a few times, a couple of quiz nights, did a wedding the other week, Oz Comic Con, Supanova now. Pretty much anything that's nerdy in Adelaide, this turns up to. Do a few library events as well.
Let's not forget Preachers Podcast Live 1 and 2.
Yes, fringe events, Preachers Podcast Live 1 and 2.
Well, Preachers Podcast doesn't do Doctor Who anymore, so you're dead to me. You do fundraising and charity events as well, is that right?
Occasionally, yeah. I'll help out with charity events or fundraising, depending, location and what the theme is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, you're a bit of an expert here of attending the cons in Adelaide, and you've been to cons around Australia as well. What's one thing that separates Adelaide conventions to, say, a convention in Melbourne or Sydney? Is there any difference, or is it much of a muchness?
I think this might not be because it's Adelaide, or mainly because I'm from Adelaide, but I think the familiarity with a lot of the regulars is probably a little bit higher here. I guess that's because I'm from Adelaide. I can see now in the crowd probably half a dozen people that I know.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing is kind of good. It's good to be in a home environment, but generally, overall, they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar.
Now, I have noticed from yesterday and today there hasn't been a massive influx of crowds, which is actually quite good. You're not feeling claustrophobic or like crammed in altogether. Is this a common thing, or is this just particular for Supanova here in Adelaide?
I think Supanova is generally a little bit quieter. They don't advertise quite as heavily as some of the other cons do, especially here. And I think time of year probably as well. It's pretty late in the year.
Yeah.
People are winding down.
And spend a lot of their mone at other conventions.
That's correct, yeah. Or saving their money for Christmas, I guess.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Christmas is coming up. So is there another big event coming up for the guild, or anything to look forward to?
Costumers Guild always has a bit of a Christmas party. It's pretty laid back kind of thing. Just chuck on whatever you've got in the wardrobe. That's usually the first or second Saturday in December, but then it quietens down. This thing's going to a library event in early January, and then there's another event here a bit later on in the year that it's going to. But yeah, Costumers Guild and the whole costuming cosplay thing sort of winds down over Christmas and then ramps up, start con season in March.
Now, do you have a good balance of males and females within the guild?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'd probably be 50-50, a variety of different things. We have. It's good in terms of the gender balance and also the age balance. There's people from, you know, teenagers to senior citizens, we'll say.
That's very diplomatically said. I like that. And so that's good to have a range of ages as well. Do you have much confrontation with, like in the States, they have this whole cosplay is not consent type of thing. Have there been any issues of that with harassment or mistreatment or anything like that within your Costumers Guild or people from the outside?
I would say it's probably people from the outside. Being a male myself, though, I can't really comment on the majority of those issues.
Yeah.
I know a lot of my female friends have had those incidents, Adelaide, wherever they are, and that's pretty unfortunate and a bit despicable, I find. But you know, I'm not really qualified to comment.
But you guys are quite supportive
within the guild itself. It rarely, if at all. Yeah, it's quite a supportive group of people who are like-minded.
Yeah, I love that about you guys. You guys are so supportive and so inclusive and you know, and just so positive, which is a great thing to bring to these type of scenes.
Yeah, excellent.
And you take down Daleks when they interrupt our filming. So thanks so much, Simon. It's a pleasure. Thanks so much.